Yo, this is Soul Drum 86 bringing you another video. Today we're going to be reviewing Fully Loaded in Your House 1998. Now, originally I was not going to, I didn't have plans on reviewing this specific pay-per-view. I also wasn't going to do one of these videos for a little bit, like not for a while, but just for a little bit. I wasn't going to do one so quick back to back from my last review. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, there should be some other like type of content that I upload in between, but we'll see. but um but yeah, man, I started watching this PLE just like for fun, not for the channel or anything. But I'm sitting here calling it PLE. I'm sitting here watching this pay-per-view. That's what they were before, and I was watching it just for fun. I was not going to review it. I wasn't thinking about reviewing it, and then all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? I have to. I was having so much fun watching it. And yeah, I'm going to get this out of the way now because I know that I'm probably going to revisit it at the end of this review. I never felt bored. I never felt exhausted watching this pay-per-view. Never felt bored, never felt exhausted. Variation of matches, all the matches told a different story. Fantastic. But this pay-per-view was full of 8 matches, one bikini contest. And as a matter of fact, as soon as the show opens, before there's any opening credits, like you know how WWE, they used to have that opening kind of like little video package before the pay-per-view would start. Before that, they show Jerry the King Lawler in Sable's dressing room. You see a silhouette of her changing. You can tell she's like, you know, not barely wearing anything. He's like, he's able to see and get like a sneak peek of like what we now know is the infamous like handprints on her boobage. But you know, he gets to see a little bit of that. And then the show opens. So the very first match is Jeff Jarrett with Tennessee Lee versus Val Venus. Now, during this time, Val Venus is also having a storyline with Kai and Tai and Yamaguchi-san, their manager. Val Venus slept with his wife, and now he pretty much wants revenge. So after Jeff Jarrett and Val Venus make their way to the ring, Kai and Tai come out, and Southern Justice, which used to be the Godwin, Southern Justice is there. They were kind of like Jeff Jarrett's bodyguards back then. They cut them off, and the referees and everybody, you know, sent Kai and Tai back to the locker room. Yamaguchi-san sneaks around them, goes to the commentator table, and, you know, from that point on, like during the match, you kind of hear him talk about, you know, yeah, we got something planned for Val Venus for Monday Night Raw tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, they're telling the story while the match is going on about what's been, you know, happening in the feud and everything. And Val Venus remains undefeated. At this time, he was undefeated. This was actually his pay-per-view debut. And he beats Jeff Jarrett. And at the end of the match, Val Venus is talking to Yamaguchi-san, talking trash, blah, 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 blah. But it was cool because it was a nice setup for like what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw between Val Venus and Kai and Tai and all of that other stuff. So again, you have a lot of stuff that's going to be kind of like a theme throughout this pay-per-view is, you know, there was a lot of things to set up continuing storylines and such and such. So that was a little nice little opening match. Nothing too big, but nice little opening match. Second match of the night, D'Lo Brown versus X-Pac. And X-Pac was with China. Godfather came down to the ring with D'Lo. D'Lo is the European champion at this time, but it is a non-title match. Another great match. I think any match D'Lo and X-Pac were in were dope. Those of you that have been following my channel for a while, like I'm a big D'Lo fan. D'Lo Brown was dope. Like seriously, D'Lo Brown was like, I mean, I know you guys probably feel the same. The dude was like super athletic. His like sit down, like spine buster, the sky high, beautiful, man. That's actually how he won this match. Godfather got on the ring apron, distracted X-Pac. X-Pac punches Godfather off of the ring apron, and as soon as he turns around, D'Lo hits him with that sky high. And I mean, the way he would just everything D'Lo did, it just looked good. You know what I mean? Everything he did, his frog splash was dope. All of it, man. Just a really another thing that was cool about this match, when D'Lo started wearing the vest, like that bulletproof vest or whatever. It was cool how they would have it to where, like, if he missed a move, like a splash, the vest would hurt his chest, so he would always hold his chest whenever something like that happened. And they kept having like X-Pac do some things in this match to where, the vest that D'Lo was wearing was also kind of causing some damage, which was pretty nice. So you get a nice little match with them too, because you got two like super athletic dudes, and they put on a good match, man. I love the way the match ended, the distraction by Godfather. I thought it was dope. And China was China was very involved in this pay-per-view, but we'll get to that. The third match was a tag team match. What do you know? A tag team match. Triple H, a tag team match on a pay-per-view. That's crazy. I mean, who would have thought? But you got Bradshaw. And by the way, Bradshaw was big. I forgot how big Bradshaw was. Like, when he was this character, JBL, like, yes, he's always been a tall dude, but like in terms of like just muscular and like the shape that he was in, when he was teaming up with Terry Funk, Bradshaw was a big dude, man. I forgot how big he was, but it was Bradshaw and Terry Funk versus Farouk and Scorpio. We know him as Too Cool Scorpio. I was about to call him Too School. And, of course, this is after Farouk has been kicked out of the Nation of Domination, so he's teaming up with Scorpio. And so before this match, there's a promo with Terry Funk and Bradshaw. And Bradshaw is visibly frustrated with Terry Funk. He just looks so annoyed with him. And when they're making their entrance to the ring, it still plays out during their entrance to the ring, because they come out together, and Bradshaw is just looking at Terry Funk like he wants to just, like, he doesn't want to be his tag team partner anymore. Like, that's literally the way he's looking at him. He's saying something to him. Terry Funk, Terry Funk kind of got a smile on his face. He's just happy to be there. So, throughout the match, like, all of this plays out. Bradshaw is kind of carrying the tag match for their team. Let's see. Farouk and Scorpio win. And then after that, they go walk down the aisle, not a ramp, but they start walking down the aisle. Bradshaw's looking at Terry Funk. Terry Funk is trying to calm him down. Bradshaw then gives Terry Funk a clothesline, just starts beating him down. Scorpio comes back to the ring to save Terry Funk. Bradshaw takes him out. Then takes him out to the outside of the ring, still dealing damage on him. And then Farouk comes back, and he's able to get Bradshaw off of Scorpio. He doesn't really go to attack him. He just goes to get Bradshaw away from him. And then Bradshaw comes back, hits Farouk with a chair, and then he walks away. Now, what I loved about this match, again, was the storytelling. For one, you saw kind of the friction that Bradshaw had with Terry Funk in the promo. And then you continue to see that friction in their entrance. You continue to see that friction during their match. Like I said, Bradshaw was carrying the match for Terry Funk at this point. So then they lose the match. And so you see Bradshaw's temper just kind of boil over, like he's had it. And we don't see that today in wrestling. We really don't. We don't see this kind of like these through lines, like, this part, I mean, a lot of the times, it's weeks leading up to, but, this was just me watching this random fully loaded pay-per-view. But the fact that you see the friction in the promo and it plays out through the end of the match, and even though the match ends clean, right? Clean victory, no shenanigans, but you still have this this moment that fans weren't expecting. Even watching it now, I didn't expect Bradshaw to attack Terry Funk. Again, I've seen this pay-per-view before, but it's been a long time. Literally, it's been since 1998 that I saw this pay-per-view. I never watched it again. This is my first time watching this pay-per-view again, for the second time. So seeing it, it was a nice little shocking moment. It was, it was chaos at the end of the match. Again, we don't get that with Triple H's booking. And I hate to keep doing the parallels. I know I just need to review this show, but I gotta bring up the parallels sometimes, man. It's just these are the type of things that I loved about wrestling. These are the type of things I loved about wrestling, man. It was the shocking moments, the things that just kind of caught you by surprise. Anyways, moving forward, match number 4 is Vader versus Mark Henry. Now, this was probably the weakest match on the card by far. And when I say that, I don't mean to disrespect these two. Vader's awesome. Mark Henry is one of the greatest too. But this match, it was literally just like two big guys, two big beasts going at one another, and it was that match that was necessary because it was one of those, all right, let's kind of let the crowd settle down a little bit. We don't want to just, we don't want to hit them dopamine levels too much. And that's what this kind of match was. This was kind of one of those like, all right, this is the part of the show where this is kind of like the cool down, and that's pretty much what it was. The end of the match, Mark Henry gets the victory off of a power slam, and it was kind of cool how he like did it. Because it was weird. It was like I had to rewind it. But he hit Vader with a power slam, and he kind of used the momentum of what Vader was getting ready to try to do, and hit the power slam 1, 2, 3, and that was it. But again, that match was very like it was missable. So at the end of that match, the tag champs at the time, Kane and Mankind and Paul Bearer, come down to the ring for a promo. And oh, by this way, I forgot to mention the story throughout this show is Undertaker has not shown up to the pay-per-view yet. He hasn't shown up to the arena because he's teaming up with Austin for the main event against Kane and Mankind. So Paul Bearer is saying that Undertaker is a coward. He's trying to save himself for SummerSlam. He doesn't want to take this beating that he's about to take tonight at the hands of his brother and Mankind and all of this other stuff. And while they're talking, New Age Outlaws music hits. They come down and challenge Kane and Mankind for the tag team titles for tomorrow night on Raw. And after Road Dogg issues the challenge, Billy Gunn takes the mic and he says, it's taking them a long time to decide. Let's help for them. Let's help decide, help them make this decision for them. And so they start attacking Kane and Undertaker. Or Kane and Mankind, sorry. So it's a big brawl between the New Age Outlaws and Kane and Mankind. They eventually get separated, and, that whole segment ends. But what I loved about this was how this segment, you had segments like this at pay-per-views back then. It wasn't just match after match after match after match after match after match. And, they had these kind of like promo segments and stuff, which was really cool. And that was a really like cool moment in this pay-per-view. I actually really enjoyed that moment. And so match number 5 is the Legion of Doom, which was LOD 2000 versus Disciples of the Apocalypse, and with their manager, Paul Ellering, who is currently in WWE now, managing, he's with the Killian Cross or Karrion Cross's crew. But this match was entertaining. It was a pretty good tag team match. Oh, and again, yes, another tag team match. Who would have thought you could even have more than one tag team match on a show? That's crazy. I didn't know. I didn't know that you could do that. Somebody needs to tell Paul that you can have even 2 tag team matches on a card. And in this tag team match, you had 2 legit tag teams. You had one was a set of twins, and you had the other, Legion of Doom, who's been a tag team their entire career. So this match was cool. Nothing too big happened. The end of the match. Oh, one thing that was cool that, again, is something that you rarely see today in wrestling. The heel managers throughout this whole pay-per-view tried everything that they could to cheat to help their guy win. So Paul Ellering, multiple times in this match behind the referee's back, was, throwing punches. He was doing anything he could to try to mess up the Legion of Doom. And at the very end, it actually worked, because at the end of this match, Ellering gets on the ring apron, distracts Animal, Animal, it kind of plays out the in the way that the Godfather, distraction for D'Lo to win. He distracts Animal, and I forgot the one twin that actually won the match for the Disciples, but he, as soon as Animal turns around, he hits him with the DDT, and then that's the end of the match. That DDT ended the match. 1, 2, 3. So LOD 2000 loses. And then right after that match, what was cool about this moment was, as they're making their way up the aisle, Vince McMahon is walking down the ring with Pat Patterson and Briscoe and Sergeant Slaughter. And they walk into the ring, and Vince McMahon is saying, like, look, if Undertaker does not show up, I have the right. He was all like the booker of the show, me, Vince McMahon or whatever, and he was like, he gets to decide with the outcome, like who's gonna replace Undertaker in case Undertaker doesn't show up. So you know how Vince at this time felt about Stone Cold in terms of the storyline. So you have Vince McMahon says, if Undertaker does not show up to the arena, the Brooklyn Brawler will be the replacement. And then Brooklyn Brawler comes down to the ring. And I mean, it's just hilarious because we all know, like, Brooklyn Brawler is like one of the most famous jobbers, and for him to to threaten to team him up with Stone Cold was just, it was a funny moment, man. It was a nice little moment. So then after that, we get the Hart Family Dungeon match, which is a submission match between Owen Hart, rest in peace, and versus Ken Shamrock. Dan Severn was the special guest referee. This match took place at the Hart family's house in the dungeon where Stu Hart trained all his boys to become wrestlers. So this in itself was just a really cool moment. I mean, they were knocking each other in the wall. There was a moment where Owen Hart picked up Ken Shamrock and threw him through his head through the ceiling. I was like, this is crazy. There was even a moment where Owen Hart took Ken Shamrock, Irish whipped him, but kind of like threw him up in the air. Ken Shamrock, selling it, kind of jumped in the air and hit one of the pipes that were at the top. I mean, it was crazy. They were using the weights. They were using dumbbells and all of this type of stuff, man. So at the end of the match, Owen Hart knocks out Ken Shamrock with a barbell. Dan Severn got knocked down, so he didn't see it. Owen Hart puts a submission on Shamrock, but Shamrock is knocked out at this time. And so once Dan starts to come to, Owen Hart takes Ken Shamrock's hand and starts making him tap out. Even though Ken Shamrock is really not tapping out, Owen Hart picks his hand up, makes him tap. Dan thinks that Ken Shamrock is tapping out, and Owen Hart wins the match. Again, nice storytelling. Heels being heels. That was perfect. I just want wrestlers to do stuff like that again. I just want wrestlers to do things like that again, man. That was it was a funny moment. It was almost comical, the fact that, like, and Owen Hart was good at doing stuff like that, man. Owen Hart played the heel role perfectly, man. Watching that match made me miss Owen, man. I'm gonna be honest. I know he's been gone now for a long time, but watching that match, Owen Hart was great, man. And so it was just a fun match to watch. It was different. It was off site, it wasn't in the ring. It was cool. It was actually kind of cool to see when Ken Shamrock was making his entrance, him come down the steps to into the dungeon. It was just really cool, man. So after that Hart Family Dungeon match, we have match number 7, which is a 2 out of 3 falls with The Rock versus Triple H for the Intercontinental title. This match was good. This match was 30 minutes long. It had a 30-minute time limit. Like I said, 2 out of 3 falls. Man, there was a lot that happened in this match. So before the first fall before anybody won, the match was on for about 15 minutes because The Rock won the first pinfall. And During that time, Mark Henry came down to the ring, and this was behind the referee's back. Triple H is laid out on the mat. Mark Henry gives Triple H a splash, then, kind of walks away from that situation. Uh, and Godfather tried to interfere later on. The New Age Outlaws run down, get in front of him. They don't fight him, but they get in front of him. They kind of, point their fingers at him, tell him to go. So they kind of walk Godfather away from that area until they're finally all backstage. Then D'Lo tries to interfere. He gets on the top rope, has his European title, getting ready to jump off the top rope to hit Triple H with the belt. Triple H sees what's happening, gets up, knocks D'Lo Brown off of the top rope. And soon as he turns around, The Rock hits him with the rock bottom, and so The Rock wins the first pinfall. And they had 1 minute break time after each fall. So after Rock wins, they both go to their corners, or Rock goes at least to the corner. They wait a minute. You hear Howard Finkel mention, "All right, now it's for our minute rest period." Then the match starts back up. China, didn't look like it was on purpose, but I think it was, just because even I think JR said it was well put together by DX. But there was a moment that happened where China started to talk to the referee, and so the referee is distracted. X-Pac comes out of the crowd, gives The Rock a face buster, and I think after that was when Triple H tried to go for the pin, but The Rock kicked out. When he gets back up, China low blows The Rock. And then, because The Rock has a chair. He's getting ready to hit Triple H over the head with a chair. This is a little bit past that what X-Pac did. So as The Rock has the chair in his hand, China gives him a low blow. He drops the chair. China then DDTs The Rock onto the chair, and then that's how Triple H gets his pinfall. So it's tied 1-1 at this point, and match continues. One of the coolest points of this match was the ending, because Triple H pedigrees The Rock, goes for the pin. Earl Hebner's like, can't do it. We cannot do it. He's saying no, doing his hand motions nope. And then that's when Howard Finkel announces that the 30-minute time limit is up. This match is a draw, and Rock retains the Intercontinental Championship. By the way, that is the ugliest Intercontinental Championship. I think it's uglier than the new one that they have now. the Intercontinental title that Rock had, I cannot stand that title, man. That looked... Ugh. Maybe it does look better than the current one, but still, it was not. I didn't like it at all. I did not like it at all. But after the match, Nation of Domination come down. They start jumping Triple H, and then DX comes down to save Triple H. Then it kind of becomes like a little brawl. There's a lot of chaos. DX versus Nation of Domination. Fight. And the Nation of Domination leaves the ring. After this moment, they finally show Undertaker walking into the arena. So Undertaker's finally shown up after all of this time. And right after they show, and this is another thing that I missed that they really need to bring back in wrestling. So after they show the Undertaker finally get to the arena, they show The Rock leaving with D'Lo and the Nation, but you really mainly just see him and D'Lo. The Rock, he's got his shirt off still, but he's got shorts on. He's got regular clothes. He's got his bag that he was carrying all his stuff in. He's got his title with him, and he's doing a promo as he's leaving the arena. And he's like, if Triple H wants to fight The Rock one more time, then he can, and all of this other stuff, and just saying his catchphrases and all of that. And it's on the way out of the arena. You see them getting ready to go towards the car and everything. So it was a nice little, I loved it, man. I was enjoying this fully loaded pay-per-view. I forgot how fun this pay-per-view itself was, and I just randomly picked it to watch it. So then after that, after the Rock promo, We get ready for the bikini contest with Sable and Jacqueline. Jacqueline is with the marvelous Mark Marrow. And now, before this bikini contest starts, Dusty Reynolds, Gold Dust, his religious character that he was playing at the time, he was praying for the audience, saying like, just the fact that they're about to do, a bikini contest and all of that other stuff. And he said, "Hey, the Messiah is coming," and then he leaves the ring, and Jared the King Lawler is happy he left the ring, and so they're getting ready for the bikini contest. Jacqueline comes out, she does her thing. Wardrobe malfunction. I don't think it was really a wardrobe malfunction. Watching that again, I think she showed her nipple on purpose, because you actually see her do it. Like, it's not like it came, and maybe I saw wrong. It doesn't look like it just kind of slipped off. It looked like she did it on purpose, and then she goes to cover it. Like, she starts covering her chest, and then she goes to like fix it. But there was that, and then the whole infamous Sable. Well, first, when she took her main top off, she was saying how Vince McMahon said, "Hey, you need to wear something conservative," and so she just kind of has like a sweater-like crop top on, sleeveless, and then we get the whole legendary, the black handprints painted on her chest, and that was all that she had. And even Mark Marrow was trying to cover her up and all of this other stuff. So we got a little break in the action with the bikini contest. Then it was time for the main event, which was Austin and Taker versus Mankind and Kane. This main event was awesome. It was very fast paced, very, very fast paced main event. Of course, because the 2 out of 3 falls had a 30-minute time limit, that was the longest match on the pay-per-view, was the Intercontinental match. I want to say this main event, I wasn't clocking the time, guys, so I'm not 100% sure. It felt like this main event was probably like 15 minutes at most. I think this was like a 15-minute tag match. If I were to guess, because like I said, I wasn't clocking it. But it definitely wasn't as long as the 2 out of 3 falls match. But Undertaker wins the match for the team. And so Kane and Mankind lose their tag titles to Austin and Taker. There was a lot that went on in this match. Just a lot of like destruction, just there was a moment where Stone Cold kind of like charged Mankind when he was on the ring apron, and Mankind just went flying onto the commentator's table. He didn't break the table, but he just flew like directly on it. Towards the end of the match, it was funny because Undertaker gave Kane a choke slam, and it looked like he picked Kane up no problem. And Kane was like the same size as him. But when he goes to do the choke slam to Mankind, it still looked good, but it looked like he was like heavier. It looked like it was more of a struggle for him to choke slam Mankind than it was to choke slam Kane. But there was even a moment where Stone Cold gave the stunner to Kane and Undertaker. First, he gave the stunner to Kane, or Kane and Mankind. First, he gave the stunner to Kane, and then Mankind comes into the ring, and he is kind of like giving him like the mandible claw, but Stone Cold reverses it somehow into the stunner. It was crazy. And so they were kind of like both laid out. But anyways, Undertaker, he wins the match for the team, and like wrestling used to do back in the day, would end on a cliffhanger or end in a way where you would say, "Ooh, I can't wait until Monday Night Raw." So what they did was they had Undertaker take both belts and leave with both belts. And so as the show is getting ready to cut off air, you see Stone Cold yelling at Undertaker from the ring, kind of like, "What the hell are you doing?" And so then the show just abruptly ends. And it was just kind of like that moment of like, ooh, I wonder what Monday Night Raw is going to be like. Guys, this show was fantastic. I literally could say, like, I had so much fun watching this. Like, I never got bored. I never felt exhausted because every match played out differently. There was something different that happened in every match. And this is what I miss about wrestling, man. And this is why I'm going to be, not everything that I rewatch I'll review, but I'm definitely going to be doing some reviews to these shows, man. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing another review so quick, but I had so much fun. I just kind of wanted to relive all of this with you guys and to see if you even remember some of this stuff, or even if my reviews kind of help you guys go back and rewatch these shows for yourself. I thought this show was awesome. There was really only one match, which was the Vader and Mark Henry match. It wasn't even like a sleeper match. It just was. It was just, again, not trying to disrespect those two guys, those two legends. They're legends in my mind, man. And I thought they did good. It just, from everything else that we got on the show, it was a match that we did not have to. It was a match that we did not have to really be that invested in. It was just but yeah. But let me know what you guys feel in the comment section, man. This is your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.